Hello, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond. My name is Terlan. Welcome back to the art table for October 2023, this time featuring Corpse Cutie. Now, before we get into the artist, I want to go through my usual spiel. Any artwork I feature is at the written consent of the artist. I don't take any sort of kickback, commission, promotion, payment, or anything in relation to the video. I do it purely for the love of the artwork. And feel free to share my video, by all means, please do. But do not share the artist's work outside of this video without the artist's permission themselves. I also want to stress that any commissions you have done by the artist are between you and them. I am in no way personally involved and cannot set time, price, or any of the other factors. That is, again, between you and the artist. I also want to point out that Corpse, as I will be referring to, has reached out to me when I was discussing with her the possibility of sharing her artwork. She is not currently doing many commissions. She said she is relatively inactive in the commission space. So just keep that in mind if you contact her in hopes of getting a commission. Just also wanted to point out that all of Corpse Cutie's commission pages or in social medias will be linked in the description down below. The best way to contact her, I believe, was Instagram, but I, again, will have that linked in the description down below, so make sure you check her out and follow her on the social media platforms. Also, if you're willing to, follow me on social media, that'd be great. I'd love to be able to get these videos and the podcast out to more people. Now, with all that being said, let's get into the video. Now, the first piece I picked does fit in more with the cutie theme than the corpse theme, but we'll get to the other side in a little bit. I really loved what kind of felt like either a spring elf or maybe more of like a fairy type creature. I can't quite tell. Originally, my vibe was elf, but as I'm looking at it more, I'm thinking, okay, this could be a fairy with just rather elongated ears. But I loved the gentle eyes, like the greens that weren't, super vibrant emeralds, but they're very kind of light pastel. It fits in with the other colors and it gives it a more gentle look. Because I know oftentimes their fairies or elves are depicted with either, say, purely black eyes if they're kind of more of an evil traditional depiction of a fae, or this like striking blue eyes. But I think that not enough artists use this kind of gentle tone, the gentle shades, to really give a piece a mellow and whole feel like this. Because even the hair doesn't stand out per se, but it still looks really nice. It doesn't strike me as like the main piece. Everything works together in a really soft form. And I love the addition of the little flowers, creating that nice bit of flow to help move the eye around the piece. It's gorgeous. Although the earrings still confuse me because they are massive, and all I'm picturing is if I were wearing those, I don't have my ears pierced, whenever I turn my head, just like getting like karate chopped in the neck with one of those things. Like, that strikes me as it would hurt. So I I feel rather sympathetic, so to speak, for this creature and her massive earrings. But it also just gave me a very hopeful vibe that, soon the seasons will change. I know this is spring as we're going into fall, as I record this here in early September, but here where I am, it's still 30 degrees Celsius and I'm dying. So I would love for, well, especially fall, but I would take spring at this point, as long as it's cooler than this. Speaking of changing seasons into fall, let's actually get into the first corpse or Halloween themed that I have selected for today's video. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would he say if it's a Halloween piece and then put up Dark Magician Girl? So, there's a couple reasons for this. One, love Yu-Gi-Oh! Brings back a ton of memories, and Dark Magician Girl was one of my favorite cards back in the day, though I did still prefer the traditional Dark Magician, just because he had a few more things that you could do with him, especially as the card game went on. Anyway, getting in the weeds. Two, super adorable, like just adorable, cute little chibi. And three, what is Halloween these days if not dressing up as our favorite characters from childhood? Like, I cannot tell you when I was in high school or university, the number of people who would dress up in Dark Magician Girl costumes or cartoon characters or things that we all can remember from our childhoods. Now, I'm not talking about the, how do you put it, risque costumes, I guess, to be family friendly. I'm just talking about like the regular people who just genuinely enjoyed these card games or these TV shows as a kid, and they want to express that passion through a regular costume. Or even the number of anime expos that I've been to, where again, you're going to see Dark Magician Girls everywhere. So it's not the creepiest, it's not the darkest piece that we have, but it's something that stood out to me as not necessarily uniquely Halloween, but fitting more in with the Halloween theme than some of the other pieces I've selected for today. Following this, though, will probably be the creepiest or darkest piece that I've selected for today's video. So, as I say, this is arguably the most creepy or darkest selection that I have for today's video, and that is, of course, our missing eye maid. Honestly, I just thought this was a really interesting piece. It was definitely an outlier from the majority of things that she does, but I don't know, it fit in with the theme. I really liked just the dark void, so to speak, that you get in the right eye, and the fact that it looks like it was at some point recently removed, but also just the color scheme, like the vibrant, like the really saturated and vibrant crimson that's coming out of her eye, matching her hair color, but also like the nice background. So one thing I've noticed about Corpse Cutie's pictures is that she really pays attention to the background. Now, I'm sure you've seen that with the Fae, you saw it with Dark Magician Girl Circle, and though it looks simple here, it gives the depiction that this maid sacrificed her eye, much like Odin did, not necessarily for knowledge, but for greater power. Now, that greater power isn't always a good thing, so she may have sacrificed her eye rather recently to serve some sort of dark god who now watches over her in the background. I think what does it for me is kind of the background storytelling that you can either identify or kind of create for yourself based on the backgrounds that she does, and kind of create this little mini story for these characters. And I think that's what really stood out to me with some of her pieces, is that she not only takes the character in the foreground into account, but also what kind of power backgrounds can hold. You're also going to see that with this next piece. So this piece I picked because A, it's lovely, B, it's super well done, C, it again fits more in with our fall slash Halloween theme, in the sense that, you know, it's the browns, it's the kind of more muted colors that we're going to see in the fall, and I cannot wait for that. So yes, part of this selections was me just wanting the seasons to change, but also, A, again, super cute, it has a good background. Now, I know it's not the whole image, but it creates this nice border around the image, and we've all seen the whole Cthulhu, Thousand Eyes sort of thing. It's a classic though. You know, you pair a cute girl who looks super seemingly innocent and adorable, and then she's serving the most twisted of the dark gods as she leads humanity towards its destruction. But with a cute smile. Like, why not? It's the perfect theme for Halloween, right? The ghosts, the goblins, the ghouls, and the servants of our dark gods come out to party. But again, just thought this was really cute. And I think the next piece is going to break the Halloween theme more than anything, but I couldn't not feature it. So this piece I picked A, because it stood out from the rest, and B, because I think this is the perfect idea for a D&D campaign, especially if you only have 3 player characters. It also reminded me of a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Now, I don't know if there's a specific Yu-Gi-Oh card or if this is a reference to something. It's just the art style was very much, oh my god, this is like, I want to say like 3rd season, 3rd generation Yu-Gi-Oh cartoony art style, and I loved it. So as we can see, there is a knight, I'm assuming a wizard, and either a bard or a ranger type egg character, and they're all eggs, super cute, guarding a little baby dragon. Like, it's so cute, and the dragon is so precious. I could not stop myself from featuring this. Again, I know it's not really Halloween themed, that's fine, I don't care, it's my show. I love this piece for reasons that go beyond, oh, you know, it's really well drawn, which it is, and it's really well shaded. The fact that you're able to distinguish the kind of literal eggshell white from the white backgrounds is not easy to do, I'm sure, especially when you're trying to get that dimension in there. But it's just, again, super cute, and I love it to death, and I would love to play a D&D campaign where I am the knight on, I guess, the right-hand side as you're looking at the screen, just defending my little baby dragon from, like, not even, like, big bad monsters, but from, like, a bad teacher who's giving him extra homework because she doesn't like him, or some school bully. Like, I don't want to do anything serious in this campaign. I want to deal with the most mundane, small-scale things, because nothing will hurt my precious little boy. And then, of course, you know, like, 3 sessions in, we piss off some kid who has a rich dad, and the dad's rich because he's serving, I don't know, the D&D equivalent of Jeff Bezos, who turns out to have sold his soul to some evil hidden power. And then it becomes like the whole grand adventure thing. But I wanted to start out super small scale and adorable, because he's so precious, and I love him. And I will name him Cookie, because I can. So, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond, we have reached the midpoint of the video. Thank you so much for watching until this point. I would appreciate if you watched the rest of it, but I did want to take another moment to shout out the fact that Corpse Cutie's social media pages and commission page are linked in the description down below. Please feel free to check her out. Also, quick reminder that any commissions you request are at her discretion. She decides timing, price, whether she does it or not in general, things like that. So I do have, as far as I can tell, a concurrent commission price sheet on screen, but she will let you know if that has changed. Again, if you like this video, please share it around. I would love to get artist names out in front of more people. If you could subscribe, it really helps out. If you liked the video, comment. Even if you just say hi or wow, looks great, it'll help the algorithm. I'm a really small channel who gets almost no views, and I would love to see more people being able to find these artists and contacting the artists. So if you could do that, it'd be a big help. With that being said, let's get to the rest of the pieces. So I chose this piece, as I chose all the pieces, because it was, again, really high quality, really well done, as is everything that I showcase here on the art table, no matter the artist. But I really like this piece because for some reason, all I could think of was that stupid TikTok talking about the criminally offensive side eye. And that's the vibe I'm getting from this. Like, she has done something. She has killed someone, or she has done some unspeakable act, and this is how she looks at you as she walks away. Like, just no regrets. And it's just, I don't know, it's a mood. I will tell you right now, it is a mood. I loved the hair color. Now, I am a sucker for purple. Purple is my favorite color. Fully willing to admit that. So when I saw she had purple hair, purple dress, and a beautiful dark blue and black background, it helped create a really nice contrast, and especially helps the white in the hair stand out. But I was also drawn to the border work, because I'm sure you've noticed, I'm sure I've said it before, I can't draw. I suck at art beyond belief. So when I see things that intricate, that delicately detailed, like the border work, like the goggles, I can't picture how it's done. I don't understand it, and I love it even more because it's something I don't understand, because it's something I could never hope to replicate in my lifetime. Also, again, just a cute anime girl, nothing wrong with that by any means. Just a really well done piece, really lovely. I feel like she's walking away after burning down an orphanage. I don't know why, I just get the sensation she has done something absolutely heinous. And part of me wants to be okay with it, part of me does not. And we're going to move on before I dig myself a deeper grave, or before she comes after me. Now, I featured this next piece partly because I don't feature a lot of sketches here on the art table, and I kind of regret that. My original thought was sometimes they're harder to see, especially with the way YouTube compresses videos, the way my recording software records things. It just doesn't always look as good on the screen, especially in the video. But I kind of regret that, because there are some really beautiful sketches, especially if they're not colored. They can be harder to make out details, but there's still beautiful sketches that I have failed to feature, that I have failed to cover. So I wanted to start to remedy that, especially with something like this. This just struck me as kind of a down-to-earth, like I could see this person, maybe not with the ears, but just walking down the street. Maybe not here in South Korea, but back home in Canada. You know, like the big skull earrings, the cool little bracelet, the ring. Like, it's a really well done sketch. It's really cute, and it had a very down-to-earth vibe. Plus, I can just argue, okay, skulls, Halloween, fits the theme. I wanted to cover it. That's a similar rationale for the next piece that I chose, although I would say it's arguably, again, much more Halloween. So the next piece I wanted to include was this one. Not only is it, again, great Halloween fodder, but it's also something that Kat and my friend Britland feel very passionately about. They love the original Sailor Moon. I remember watching as a kid. Now, as far as I can tell, this is Sailor Saturn. If I'm wrong, please do correct me in the comments. I watched it a number of years ago, and I can't exactly remember, so I did Google and just wanted to make sure. It looks like Sailor Saturn, so I'm going to go with that for now. But again, beautifully done. Fits the Halloween theme in terms of the costume and in terms of just being like a darker tone. I try not to include too many of these where it's an established IP, because I don't want the artist to be overshadowed by the IP they're covering, or people just to come because it's the particular fandom or IP they're covering. I do want to highlight their skills, especially with original works is the wrong word, but maybe original ideas. That being said, I do also like showcasing stuff where, as you've already seen, I've done Dark Magician Girl and a few others, where it is existing IP, because it really helps showcase the artist's own style in terms of how they would interpret these characters. That being said, let's move on to another original character.
So I picked this next one partly because I really thought it was just a nice splash of color among some of the others, which I've covered here for this video. But it was also just a really nice concept, Witch of the Stars, with a lot of really nice motifs, a gorgeously colored background that blend nicely into the eyes, the big earrings, and I really liked the little stars and like the little touches around the hat. I don't know if that's meant to symbolize kind of like more of like a chain or just a series of diamonds or even just a series of maybe star pieces. I wasn't 100% sure, but it looked really nice and gave it a nice aesthetic appeal to help break up some of the monotony in the hat, and was just overall really well done. I thought it was super cute. But we do need to move on to the final piece of today's video. And I wanted to end it with this piece partly because, as I mentioned with the sketch pieces, I don't cover a lot of watercolor, and I honestly don't know why. Now, admittedly, a lot of the artists who I've been in contact with don't specialize in watercolor and don't really focus on it, but it's always been a lovely art form to me that has a nice inherent gentleness to it. It doesn't have the same kind of hard, not necessarily harsh, but again, more defined lines that traditional artwork does, or traditional painting, I should say. So when this watercolor comes in with its softness, with its kind of unique way of kind of self-shading, where it gets heavy in some areas and doesn't touch others, it just creates a really nice effect, and I really loved the gentleness and color scheme of this piece. Again, I'm a sucker for purple, but it pairs really well with the light blue shirt, and I really like the eyes. Now, I know they're similar to eyes that we've seen in her other pictures, but there was just something about these eyes that kind of stood out more in contrast to the watercolor. But all in all, it was just a super well done piece. Again, I love watercolor and the unique kind of variations that you can get out of it in terms of where it saturates and where it kind of avoids. So all in all, again, really loved this piece. Thought it was fantastic. And with all that being said, thank you, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond, so much for watching and listening. Please do make sure you check out Corpse Cutie's social medias and her commission page. As I mentioned before, she is not currently very active as of her own admission, so I cannot guarantee and will not say what her availability or general openness to any sort of commissions are. That being said, you are free to contact her at your own volition. Anything you have done between any artwork you have requested is between you and them. I'm in no way involved, so they set pricing, time frame, everything like that. Thank you again so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Do make sure to check out the art table the 14th of every month and the podcast the 24th of every month. Make sure to share this around, like, comment, subscribe, the usual stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Oh, and happy Halloween. I almost forgot about that.